Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to kliqthistv.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Kev, happy Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah, it's Monday.
It's Monday. Happy Memorial Day. I guess if you're one of the commuters that likes to listen to us, it's Tuesday, and you're going back to work.
Or if you're really on our time, we can talk about the Knicks game last night.
I do want to talk about the Knicks game last night.
Unbelievable.
So here's my question to you as I don't watch the NBA like I used to, you know I got my creds, bro. I throw out all those 80s names at you, from Dumars to Rambis to
Yeah, it's like me talking Tigers from the 68.
Eddie Johnson. And when can you safely turn off an NBA game? I think an NFL game, I think football, there's a much more definitive spread where you know it's pointless to watch the rest of the fourth quarter. But when can you turn off an NBA game and go, yeah, this one's over, fuck this, and tear up your betting slip?
Regular season, you can turn it off at the end of the third.
Good point.
Playoffs, last night will prove.
That's why I'm getting to that.
With a which could have been a loose ball foul and ended the game. Indiana had one replay left. They used it. They said that contact happened. They both went for the ball. Then contact happened that caused a foul. Therefore, the foul was called before. It should have been it should have just been a loose ball and both guys going for it. And Indiana got the ball side out instead of New York shooting 2 free throws, and that ended up turning into Halliburton by a 16th of an inch, missing a three-pointer that was a 2 to tie the game. I think 132 to go into overtime.
But even before that, Kev, when were you like, all right, screw it, I'll put on?
I
you want to watch House Hunters?
When Brunson got his 5th foul, and they were up 2, and I watched, and I said, okay, this is when Indiana's going to make their push. And then all of a sudden, New York went on a 10-2 run. And then it ended up being like a 17-5 run. And I thought, at that point, I was just like, they were down 13 with maybe 2:40 left. Mm-hmm. And I thought they just weren't doing anything. And then all of a sudden, this Highsmith guy, Naismith is his name. I'm sorry, Naismith, who's got one of the purest strokes in the NBA. He was a top 10 3-point field goal shooter in the regular season, but he's like off the charts in the playoffs. And this guy, number one, they left him open twice, and the guy hit 2. After that, I don't see how they leave the guy open. They left him open he hit 5 in a minute and a half, and it's you're down 18, and the next thing you know you're down 3.
That's what I was going to ask you about. When you see the run happening, right, and you take your first time out, if you're the coach, what are you doing defensively? Is it just a double team? What are you changing up after like the second or third 3 and you're like, all right, we got to huddle up because
Obviously, if you're the New York coach, nothing.
no, you. If you're
Me,
the New York coach,
you've just. I mean, so in the first game, in the Minnesota game that was on Tuesday, Randolph was kind of floating down, almost like in a trailer position, and was bombing threes. And then they called a timeout, and they put Caruso on him, and they had Caruso pick him up like basically full court.
mm-hmm.
So there was and then once you pick Randolph up, he can't put the ball to his right. He's left-handed. He just cannot put the ball down on the right. And Caruso just played him completely to put the ball on the right, and just he had 20 points at half. I don't think he scored in the third. I don't know what he ended up with, but that was a huge adjustment. Plus, KC's 10 deep, Indiana's 10 deep. Like the pace that Indiana played last night, New York stayed with them. That's the most points I think New York's probably scored all year, and it's like that's what Indiana wants in 7 games.
How deep is New York's bench? How many players are we talking about that you can get a game out of? 7,
I
8?
think 7, 8.
All right, well, that's still
But
good.
the big guy, who's an incredible rebounder, but he becomes you bring him in towards the end, and he's about a 38% free throw shooter. So that takes like you almost have to switch him in and out defense on possessions, and but let me see who we got here.
Who are we looking?
Where's the big guy at? Go down just
Towns?
a little bit. No, there's another. Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson. Yeah, I mean I bet you his standing wingspan's like 8'2". I mean, God, he's a hoss. See, and I watched him play last year, and that was the guy I thought the Lakers should go after because he's perfect. He's a rim protector. He's a rebounder. He's not going to cost you $1 billion to sign. And they're like, no, let's get the Greek Freak. Like, no, man, get somebody that can fit into your system. But I mean, Tucker is God. I can't believe Tucker's still playing. I think he's 40 years old now. But yeah.
How's this going to end? This series, New York.
I think Indiana's going to win it.
In
I mean, it's always safe to say 7, but I think they can do it in 6. I don't know how demoralized. Indiana's young, and the only team I think that's younger than them is OKC. OKC, I think, is like 26 is their average age. So,
all right.
OKC is just, and that coach. I mean, he rotates. You see 4 guys come in, 3 guys come in, 3 guys come in, 2 guys come in. So he's and they got the MVP. They got the reigning MVP this year. He just got it today. So
let's see. So where's the money this year?
it's got to be on OKC.
Oklahoma City, 10-23. Yeah. 2 for 5. Just looking at the odds to win the series. 15-2. Pacers would be a second favorite, it looks like. With Minnesota being the longest shot at a 10-1.
You know, the
9
thing
to 1,
is,
10
too,
to
that
1.
anybody that watched the New York-Detroit series, Detroit should have won that series. I mean, they had them beat in 3 of the games. I mean, it was just like they're just a little too young, a little too inexperienced playoff-wise, but Detroit played them real well.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope the Pistons get a piece in the draft.
Yeah. You know, when everyone's listening to this Monday morning, we will be 3 games deep in the series, right? Because I think Friday is game 2. And then Sunday night at 8, I believe. I checked the schedule. I think Sunday night is the 3rd. So, yeah, this is our game 1 reaction, folks, to...
I didn't get a good feel. I didn't realize, I thought fucking Rudy Gobert was a player. And I watched, I mean, like he was with the Jazz, and man, he can't even catch a basketball. And he had a couple of games in the last series where he had like 29 and 20.
Hmm.
You know, so I mean, he's still, but it's just, they just basically, they move the ball so quickly that they take the big man out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Is who's winning the whole thing this year? Is it going to be?
It's OKC's to lose, but man, I like Indiana.
Right. Let's see where it goes. Kev, did you open your mail? Did you get your pink?
I got my pink.
Your pink SAG.
118.74.
It's just such a dwindling. Now mine was just so this. If anyone's looking, the residual industry since streaming has entered our goddamn lives,
Ugh.
and nobody has to spend money on movies anymore. The dwindling nature of one's residual checks. So occasionally throughout the year, you know, you get direct deposit for all your regular residuals, but throughout the year you get a pink statement with a check, and this is foreign. So you never know what countries are going to be on the foreign. You know, good luck auditing that if you want to take issue with it. So this was Germany and Sweden for me. Right. So what do you think? So in Germany, my highest grossing film for the Germans this quarter was The Devil Wears Prada, which I guess fashion is kind of an international thing. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Some shit got.
What was your total?
Oh, it was wicked. $72.99, biatch.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, because Sweden picked up the rear there and delivered me. I don't know what the hell. 6 cents was probably the highest grosser there, or the Sentinel. What
My
the hell
highest
was
was John Wick.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, see the action stuff, right? Was Sentinel an action movie? I don't remember half the stuff I've done.
I don't know.
The Sentinel. I feel like that was maybe a shooter, a shoot 'em up. But gone are the days, Kevin, of.
Do you remember when we used to get that DVD money?
Jesus Christ, do I remember that?
Oh.
And then, so the DVD money was great for anything that was a hit. Like The Sixth Sense, my few days working on that film, it was a glorious time when that check would come in. And that was the mailed check. So I'd open.
See, I still get.
Oh, you still do the mailed gimmick?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I pay
know
per
how you
trail
feel about
everything.
the electronic.
Yeah. How do you know you're not getting paid? Do you have your Screen Actors Guild?
Well, I go
app?
on the app and I can see.
You can see what's mailed to you, right?
I can see what's being deposited in my direct deposit.
It'll say processed, mailed, and
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
you
I
can
have
check
that
it.
too, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to call my bank and say, Hey, did I get a wire for $16?
I was going to say, listen, Marley and me should have made $4.45 in Sweden. I feel it should be higher. Yeah, what's going to happen to you there?
Good luck.
You know what was the most glorious was, I did Sex in the City for like 4.5 years. And when that's the only series I've ever worked on that went into syndication, because it went over, 100 episodes. And I think it landed on TNT and like
HBO.
Well, the first one was HBO. That was the first
Right.
one. But then when it hit Cindy's and it was on every night, it was on TBS, I think twice a night, like 7 and 10. And I feel like what's Channel 11 by me, it used to be WPX. I think it was the WB. Then it was on there also at the same time. So it was syndicated 3 times a night. That showed me a whole different world. In the pittance of an amount of money that I got off of that, I can imagine the
it being
Friends
on
cast.
Seinfeld? Yeah.
Seinfeld, Friends. I know why they always crossed their fingers. And I said, while I was working on this and we were getting close to that number, I would talk to the editors. I'm like, there's no way you can put this, particularly when there was a particularly disgusting, but very crass episode. Like, there's no way we're getting syndication with this. Like he said, I'm telling you, they will find a way to get this on. And they did it with the beauty of editing. Wonder what they had to do to Mr. Pussy to make it palatable. Kev, do you cook out on Memorial Day? Do you fire up the grill? Are you good on the grill? Are you a grill master?
I really don't have much of a desire to stand on the planet Mercury and fucking
Over fire.
Yeah, over fire and put cook meat. Like,
Right.
nah. We always go. There's a place, a barbecue place. And I usually, because we'll have a couple people over, and I'll get some ribs and some chicken that they do. Get some coleslaw, get some corn on the cob, drink a Michelob Zero.
I was hoping I had these visions of you in the apron, the chef's apron, working the grill.
I've never been. I watch these fucking guys that are grill guys. I'm just like, dude, if I ain't cooking it on a George Foreman in 2 minutes, I ain't got time for it. I mean, when it's time for me to eat, I ain't got time for shit to rest, sit, talk, walk.
Time it, right? You time this. The sausage can take a little longer, so you put
400,
that on for
400 degree, like 400 like for a burger tonight. Like, I'll come home and I'll call Tamara on the way home. She'll fire up the George Foreman. She'll make me 3 grass-fed. It'll be 2 pounds of grass-fed beef.
Mm-hmm.
She'll make me 3 patties, and I'll have one with low-sodium Swiss cheese on bun, and the other 2 I'll just eat just bareback, just the patties.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll make me a little bit of baked beans, and she makes like this Asian slaw that's kind of sweet.
Can you do do you do a condiment with the burger at all, or it's just
My condiment is I do 2 pickles and yellow mustard.
Oh. Not even like a sugar-free ketchup or anything like that.
I'm not a ketchup guy.
Okay. I was going to ask you what you put on your fries then, but you probably don't eat fries.
I don't eat fries.
You don't eat fries. There you go.
Occasionally I'll eat sweet potato fries, like
Okay.
twice a year.
Back in the oh, there you go.
Fuck yeah.
Back in the
See, I mean, that's what happens. You fucking cook outside, you age fucking 30 years. That motherfucker.
look at your guns, man.
My guns are better than that.
In the days when I was running the Glorious Kayfabe Commentaries production company, one of the series that we had written ready to go, but I couldn't get it insured, was a series called House Show, where we choose fans write in and we choose a lucky winner, and a talent goes to their house for the day, and we just film it. Like by today's standards, I guess with all the reality TV, it's not that cool. But back then, to have the Iron Sheik at your house working the grill. Yeah,
have him
Sheik takes a shit.
Come in, take a deuce. Do the Brian Pillman where he takes a deuce, wipes, then throws the shit in your trash can so the turd just sits there floating.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, we wanted to do that. Put Sheiky on the grill, and I think Val Venus was actually the first person we had booked. But who the hell would ensure that? The Iron Sheik hanging out in some Mark's house. Not too much can go wrong for house show. Now that I've just said it, it'll show up on WWE Network like everything else.
Because after Wendy Richter wouldn't do the job, then it's
you downhill. Imagine demanding that the woman of the house do the arch.
You got to do the arch, baby. Then smack her as hard as you can.
That scene alone. And listen, if you're going to have the wild and woolly world of professional wrestlers going to your house, you're going to need a safe place to lock up your firearm so that it does not become involved in the scenario, yet maybe have it accessible if you need to get it very quickly. If things
you might want to decoy that box and then have it concealed in your waist.
Just carry all day. Just make this the cigar box.
Just tell them 3 different times hey, if I showed you this box where I keep my firearm, just when the shit goes down, they decoy that way. You can get a clean shot into their back.
What we are talking about is the STOPBOX, everybody. Oh, has this changed the game for firearm owners? Because the big conundrum is safety, yet accessibility. And it would seem that one or the other always has to be compromised. Not with STOPBOX. You can check that out at stopboxusa.com/Nash, by the way, as I tell you about this. STOPBOX is, it's safe, out of reach, but ready for an emergency. Okay, they saw this problem that I described, and they designed a groundbreaking solution, the STOPBOX Pro. Okay, with the STOPBOX Pro, you never have to choose between security and readiness again. It's ingenious. It's a push-button locking system. It's just a combination that your fingers perform, and it opens instantly. Just opened mine. Close it again. So why is this important? Why is it important not to have keys, not to have codes? Well, think about it. What if it's dark and you need to get in? What, you're really going to be messing with trying to find a key to put in a keyhole? Are you really going to just have to try to type in a code when maybe you're nervous, your hands are a little jittery? You just have to grip the corner edge of this box, and you put your fingers in the designated position that you set, and when you depress them, mine right now is a thumb, middle, and forefinger. When I depress them, the box instantly opens, okay? Security and accessibility, so important. And guys, traveling with peace of mind is now easy because the STOPBOX Pro is TSA compliant. You can securely and conveniently transport your firearm. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get a wonderful deal, okay? Get 10% off, okay, when you use the code NASH. So go to stopboxusa.com/Nash, okay, and get that discount. Make sure you tell them we sent you by using the code NASH, and we want you to discover a better way to balance security and readiness with STOPBOX. Thank you for helping me feel good about our firearm owners being able to keep themselves safe.
A lot of firearm owners, would say, "Oh yeah, but I don't want to have to go through that. I just want my peace on the side of my bed," and I'm that guy. Like I want the peace on the side of my bed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but today the cleaning crew came. I don't want my piece on the side of my bed.
Exactly.
So I put it in the box and I lock it and I know nobody's messing with my firearm, because there's two kind of people on the planet. There's people that have firearms that are out, and they're not loaded, and there's people that have firearms that are out that are loaded, and some of them have safes, some don't have safes, and so years ago I would always be like, okay, do I have one in the barrel? Do I not have one in the barrel? And I would always, and I'd be like, at nighttime, if something happened, So the other night, I did the, I cleaned up the kitchen late at night, and I've got this steel tumbler, and I put the dishes in the sink, but the tumbler was sitting against a glass bowl, and the bowl must have shifted, and that steel tumbler fell from the sink onto the tile, even though there's a mat right there. It made this dink noise. Well, I know nobody can get in my house because I've got shutters and alarms and everything else. But the fact is, it's just like, okay, that's a noise that shouldn't be there. And so I picked up my piece of my flashlight. I did my best, SWAT version of going down the stairs to make sure that everything was clear, but knowing that it's loaded. Like everything in my house is loaded. Therefore, when I do leave the house, I don't want to have to jacked around. It's just like I can put my loaded pistol into that box, and when they get done, I come home. They're not in my house anymore. My problem is it's hard to do that with your left hand, and I'm left-handed, so I've got to turn it, and it takes me a second.
Gotcha.
Almost, I have to turn it. But my whole thing is, I take it out, I put it next to my chair, and then I take it from my chair when I go up to the bed. I take it upstairs with me. But like I said, when I left the house today, I knew that nobody was going to touch my piece.
Yeah.
And it's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, that's how accidents don't occur, is if you have a system, and this gives you a system.
Indeed. Thank you, STOPBOX USA. Made in the USA. Kev, we had some listeners and viewers last week, as we always do, like Dave 6101, who said, I love to listen to Kev's travel stories. One day commando. That's it. Steve, I was thinking, I think we probably have enough travel stories to make like a 90-minute compilation show, right? A 90-minute like best of to put out there, and that could certainly be one of them. Based on, like Roger Bartley said, how was the food in Italy? The Marriott did an amazing American breakfast. LOL. Gotta love the Americans. Did you eat any? What was the authentic cuisine that you had overseas? I don't think I asked you this last week, and this is an oversight on my part.
The pasta there's al dente.
Oh, it's great.
So I mean, it's all the, like one night we had a pizza margherita at as our appetizer. Tamara and I shared it. She never eats pizza, but we were on a tour, and the first queen of Italy, the first queen of Italy, they her name was Margherita.
That's absolutely correct. That's where the pizza got the name.
And because of the colors of the basil is the green, the tomato sauce is the red, and the white is the mozzarella. So that was how that whole thing came. So when we sat down, we went ahead and got the pizza. I always find that you can always find pasta like with something instead of beef or something like that. I had it one night with boar's meat, which was like unbelievable. I had a penny pasta with lobster that was unbelievable. And it was like a light pink cream sauce with a little bit of spice, almost like a Sinatra sauce. and the guy's LOLing about breakfast. You know, most of these countries, it's a fucking roll and a coffee is breakfast. That's just the
Correct.
way they roll.
Yeah.
So if I get up and I get an egg white omelet and go over and they've got 35 ounces of smoked salmon that I can grab 8 of and put that on my plate, you know, and then have a piece of bread that, you know, it's in a roll that's, or in I mean, you have to cut the piece of bread, you know, to put it in this cooker to make a piece of toast. They got grass-fed butter, and it's just like, but to me, it's like, it's no different than being at home. Most important thing for me is to break my fast. Thus, the reason it's called breakfast. I'm not going to break my fast with a fucking brochin in a fucking glass, a cappuccino. So, LOL, go fuck yourself. There's nothing LOL about it. I don't want to drag a giant canister of protein and all my supplements when if I stay at the Marriott, I know I can get American breakfast. And now after that, my rest of my day is cool.
I'm with you. I love it, but I do enjoy the size of a few of these buffets. The one in Sorrento, I got to send you a video of this when we're off the air. Just the expansiveness of this buffet. It took almost the entire floor of this hotel, and it's because it's the gluttonous Americans. It's not 6 or 7 things we could have. It's a goddamn floor in a hotel to keep us happy with our damn food. And I'm thrilled about it. I'm not shooting on it.
I look at it too, and it's just like 60% of what was laid out for breakfast was pastries, was like donuts. I mean, like, I don't need any of that, you know?
That's true, right?
But
You have a very,
right. So every morning on every place that I went to, I got 8 to 10 ounces of salmon every morning. So I'm getting my protein, I'm getting my omegas. It's like, I don't eat for pleasure. I eat to fuel my body and to stay healthy. So, and now at nighttime when I eat that half a pizza, yeah, there's nothing good about that except the crust, which is unbelievable, like nothing we have here, you know. But it's just a different, like.
Do you order pizza here?
No.
You know.
Occasionally, I mean, occasionally I'll, like, for the Super Bowl we'll get a couple pies or something,
But generally it's not a.
I would say I eat pizza in the States 3 times a year.
Wow.
But I bet you I eat dessert 5 times a year.
Well, yeah, well, that's a little different. Pizza's such an accessible food for everybody. I was wondering if that weighed in, like, yeah, hon, don't bother. Let's just get a pizza tonight. It's just so easy to do that.
But it's so unhealthy.
All the food groups are represented. There's the bread group, the vegetable group from the tomato.
Saturated fat, excess carbohydrates. There's so much sugar in the fucking sauce, you might as well just sprinkle more sugar on it.
Yeah, I get your point.
It's not good.
It's the one guilty pleasure I need you to allow me.
You can, hey, dude. Like I said, I'm not the food police. I'm not anybody's health police. You know.
Gotcha.
My dad died at 36. I'm just trying to. My brother just had his 68th. Yes, my brother just had his 68th birthday, May 20th.
Good for him.
So happy birthday, Mark. And as we say, the oldest living Nash of all time.
Well, you said on one of my shows when you were talking about yourself, you said there's no 60-year-old Nashes. And
No.
now,
We have 3.
Your sister, too, right?
My sister's 60, yeah. My
Very
sister's
good.
actually 61 now. Yeah, she's 61.
Let's look at, let's see. Greg Trumbold.
Now
Right,
he's got
now that's an
he's
accurate
on,
arm.
Now he's on trend. Jack him up. Yeah.
You just put that ink on there and you're all set.
If I could look like that and not have to take gear, that's
take gear.
Like roids.
Gear. I'd never heard them referred to as gear. That's funny.
Yeah,
that's
it's gear heads.
Okay. Greg Trumbold, easily a favorite part of almost every show is what happens just after Kevin says, "You know what? I got to say something." You just know a nice an F-bomb laden rant is coming up. Love the real thoughts. All right, Greg, thank you.
It's kind of like, you ever wonder why? Remember Rooney used to do that at the end of 60 Minutes?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, Andy Rooney.
Yeah.
There's a contemporary reference for all our 20-somethings listening. I saw that data. We don't have 20.
You know our demo.
We don't have 20-somethings listening. I saw that Steve had to pull that demo for the info for me for something. And
there's a reason people get our shit, because we're all crawling at the same pace.
Precisely. Official Fingers MC. Enough respect to Sean and the KC crew for putting the Sabu shoots up on YouTube for free. Classy move, mate. Thank you. R.I.P. Sabu. Well, we talked about it last week. Sabu was a good dude. You can head there and check out his ECW timeline of 1997 or his U shoot, or my favorite is the Breaking Kayfabe, where he was just real. He was just Sabu. I guess technically Terry, but preferred always to be called Sabu. Dat Heat 2 says, definitely agree with Nash on the selling versus registering. It's too much registering in today's wrestling. They have to learn how to protect each other's image. Don't even get me started on the finishers, LOL. If you missed that last week, we were talking about the sell in the ring, and Kevin drew a distinction rather brilliantly between registering your opponent's offense and actually selling it. Could be kind of the difference if we're going to make a parallel to like maybe the acting world, to like a method actor versus someone who's just performing and maybe not paying attention to their partner.
If you ever in a match, like, you don't have the people, or you're having a hard time getting the people to where you want to move them, I learned this from Scott and Sean, is you do a double knockout. You know, whether it's a double cross body, you cross body each other, but you do a double knockout, double knockdown. And the key to the double knockdown is not to fucking, the minute you hit the ground, to move. Because if I fucking hit you, if our heads hit and we get a response where the people are like, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen, like that, and then when you both hit the mat, nobody moves. Now the referee's looking, and if he's a good worker, he's looking back and forth going, oh, fuck, what do I do? Oh, shit, I better count. 1, 2, 3. Nobody moves. Because the minute you move, the people know you don't need them. When it gets to 7, you'll get the people to make noise. Because they're like, come on, man, get the fuck up. Because that's what you need to do. You need to call the match. You need to fucking run the ship out there. And it's just like, and I see so many fucking great double knockouts, double knockdowns, moves where both guys could, and somebody immediately, like I watched the girls the other day, and they're fucking great move outside, and one of the girls fucking, as one's not moving and selling, she's not moving and selling, except she's pulling her knee fucking pad up.
Oh God, I see that so much.
It's just like, oh wow, make sure your fucking costuming's fucking squared away. Like, you don't.
When I'm barely conscious in the bar fight after I got a pitcher of beer smashed over my head, I usually fix my
Check your watch.
my cuffs. I make sure that
Yeah,
they're rolled.
make sure your fucking watch is fucking squared away where you can read it. No, it's little tiny things, but it's just like it's always the details in between, great and just merely good.
So true. And in wrestling schools, how much of that is emphasized? Like a trainer, I would hope a trainer would see a young guy or gal who instinctively has that, right? Who knows that stuff, who just kind of...
It's not instinctual, though, because ring psychology, especially when you're watching it now, and it looks like 1990 wrestling sped up, I mean, it looks like everything is sped up, and God, who did I watch the other day? And it was like, I think it might have been Braun and Jay, and their timing was just off on several spots. And like one of them would get up too soon for the other one, and he was kind of dicking his hand waiting for the other guy to jump off. And they just had some little nuances back and forth. And I'm sure most people don't catch that. But like I remember Scott would not Scott had really good peripheral vision, and the thing is, like, don't turn your back completely to your opponent. As you get up, and say the person's directly behind you, as you get up to your feet, open up and take that first step with your left, where you kind of put you at a 90 to them. So now, if they're coming and they're ready, all you got to do is square. You just got to push that other foot, and then they're there. But if they're not there and they fucked around on top, you can fucking bend down because you're not square yet. And anybody that's ever watched Scott work will recall him doing this, where this hand will go up to draw the attention one way. He'll put this hand down, and as he does that, then he turns and looks again, and then there's the feed. So it's just like you've got to be creating some kind of movement, but you need to be able to. If you can't see that person, you're fucked.
And the other thing too is, I would imagine for a wrestler, because it's like this for an actor, as part of your acting exercises, if you ever took classes or whatever. I really didn't. Had one in college I had to take, but I know a thing that my wife often talks about when she trains young actors is, don't do something that you're supposed to be forced to do unless your scene partner forces you to do it. Like if you're not getting it from the other one, you don't do it of your own accord. If I'm screaming at you to shut the door, when you feel that is intense enough, that's when you shut the door. Kind of got to make them do it. So in the ring, something happened the other night. Becky Lynch was, I forget who she was, in the aisleway with, in the walkway up. And the girl grabbed Becky's head to walk her back toward the ring. But when Becky felt the hand, she thought it was going to be a shot into the guardrail because she was leaning on the guardrail, and the girl grabbed her hair. And the girl goes to walk, the hand separates, and Becky takes an invisible bump into the guardrail. Unless somebody slams you into the fucking guardrail, make that happen, right? You don't take the bump unless someone makes you take the bump.
If you fucking know what you're doing, you grab them with both your hands, grab their hair with both your hands, and you make a fucking face like and you're pulling her into position, and then you fucking say to her, watch the guardrail.
Right.
Now you walk her over, you take the one hand back, and she's going to give you a great guardrail
Right.
because she can protect herself. She knows what you're doing.
Communication.
Got to communicate. It's a fucking work.
Right.
But that's the difference between Becky, who's seasoned, and the other girl that's just on her way up.
You mentioned something last week, too, about Rhea. There was a whiff. One of the young ladies missed a punch on Rhea, and
Rhea didn't
props
sell
to
it.
Rhea. She didn't fucking sell it because there was no punch. Right? So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Carl Baxter was watching last week. He said, I know the last time Kev watched Star Wars was 1983, but I've got to recommend Andor on Disney+. It's adult Star Wars. It's gritty. It's real. Looks at the beginning of the Galactic Civil War. What it took to form a rebellion. Reminds me of the war movies my dad loved. Would you...
No.
With that framing, would you give it a shot?
No.
You know, I'm surprised you're into like dystopian kind of programming.
Right.
And science fiction, to me, science fiction and the dystopian genre are connected in my mind. Clearly
Not
in
me.
yours. Not in yours.
No.
That's fine.
No. I mean, to me, dystopian, it's either like Star Wars is too far out. It's too far out there. I just watched a thing called it's on Max. Do we have to call it HBO Max now?
No, I
Because
think it is just Max now.
No, it's HBO Max again. They
Oh,
rebooted
they went back?
it.
Okay.
And we went back to HBO Max.
I don't like that the logo isn't blue anymore, by the way. It's gray, but go ahead.
Mine's black on my Bravia thing. But there's a movie called 2073, and it's deemed a documentary thriller, and the premise is, it's 2073, and they had an event in 2036 that changed, our world, and basically now it's just, what it does is it tells this loose kind of story of these kind of underground dwellers that dumpster dive and kind of the homeless people of today, but on such a greater level. But it uses news clips and documentary. I mean, everything that it puts together that caused how we got to this this scenario that is the film is shit that's been going on, since, I guess I think maybe some of it goes back to 2005. I don't know, but it's done really smart. It scares the fuck out of you. It makes you realize, like, we're so close to having a financial collapse, and people have no idea. Like Elon Musk sits there and he says, in 10 years, like, you're going to be driving along, and there's going to be a dump truck that's going to be automated with nobody in it, and it's going to go by a work site, and there's going to be these robots that are working the work site, and when they get done working the work site, those robots will be put on one of those trucks, and they'll be taken out to a highway someplace, and they'll be working on the road, and then the next morning they'll be back at the construction site.
A 24-hour workforce.
Exactly. And so, and I was talking to a really good friend of mine that we've kind of haven't talked in a while, but this was a guy that in 1990 told me, Kevin, I promise you, in the future, you will buy a home on the internet. And I was just like, and you're not going to see it. He goes, no, you'll see photographs, you'll do a walkthrough, but you will buy, you will make those kind of purchases through the internet. And he was a commodity trader. He and I spoke today for, I don't know, for 2 hours, and we were talking about just this. And so what happens is if you're 3M or just whatever company, you're BlackRock, and you're the one that has this workforce. So you're making 40% above what you were making. So you take the 20% in profits, and you take the other 20%, and you pay that to a national fund, which basically it's like the Seminole Indians. They run this casino, and then everybody, in the tribe gets a check, and that's what's going to happen. Like, people won't work, but people will be better off because they'll be in this system. And we were going back and forth, and he's a huge crypto guy. And he's the first guy that I've spoken to that it took over an hour for him to give me bullet points to where I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I get where crypto's going. I understand a lot more about crypto because, at the beginning, there was all this bullshit where, to mine one coin, it takes the amount of energy that runs Albany, New York, because that's, But now you've got, I think BlackRock just spent $80 billion on crypto. On Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure. I mean, and it's one of those things where he bought into Bitcoin at $72. It's $111,000 today. Mm-hmm. And he said, Bitcoin's been around for 17 years. He goes, he says, they print, the federal government prints 2 containers of money every day.
Mm-hmm. Look at
there we go.
Bitcoin
BlackRock number 2
in the world, and Bitcoin, BlackRock number 2, 636,108.
Times that by 111,000.
Right.
That's some cashola.
Oh, I've been sitting here doing that multiplication since you told me your friend got in at 72. Doing how many shares I would have bought, or how many Bitcoin I would have bought.
But they're saying right now. So we were talking today, and I said, okay. I said, I put $500,000 into Bitcoin. He goes, if you put $500,000 into Bitcoin, he says, in 4 years, he said, you'll probably have between $10 and $12 million. And I'm just like, so.
But there's no way you, in this market, the uncertainty of this market, now you're going to add crypto.
But that's
to the stew.
But no, that's the whole thing.
Because it's the alternative.
Because we can't continue to go on currency. Moody's just, you know what I mean? It's just, how much longer can we go on paper money?
Devalued.
Because every fucking government is just printing money. Nothing's, nothing's run by any kind of a gold or silver standard. I don't even think Scotland still does that. So, you look at it, I mean, I'm 66 years old, so I mean, would it be nice to have, when I turn 70, would it not be nice to have another 10, $12 million? Yeah, but is it going to change my life? Probably not. What am I going to do? Go buy another pair of fucking basketball shorts? Like, I don't buy anything. I just, like...
You know how much Toomey luggage that would buy, bro?
I saw somebody say something about the Toomey luggage that costs like $1,000 or $1,100. And that is the typical response of a human being that doesn't travel. Because if you travel as much as I do, I've got Toomey bags. Number one, when a Toomey bag breaks, when a wheel breaks, all that shit's fixed for life. Yeah. So it's the only thing that happens is it becomes outdated, and people know you've got an old Toomey bag, which I don't have a problem with. I've got fucking bags that are fucking 12, 13 years old. But the thing is, you spend $1,000 on a Toomey bag, 10 years later, it's the same fucking Toomey bag. It's just scuffed to fuck. And you, in the meantime, have bought 27 $150 suitcases that they fucking just have destroyed with that fucking Samsonite gorilla. I mean, and it's just like, if you know, you know. If you don't, you just haven't traveled. And you fucking, it might seem like it's a fucking stupid investment until you're fucking in Denver, Colorado, and your bag comes off and it's missing a wheel, and you can still pick it up and carry it. When you bring it home, you bring it over to the fucking place, and in fucking 4 days, you got a new fucking bag.
Yeah.
So, I mean, life's, I mean, instead of fucking LOLing me, fucking learn a lesson, man. I'm 66 years old, soon to be. I mean, I'm giving you fucking wisdom.
It's part of what you do here. Is you're
right.
educated.
I'm giving you fucking wisdom, and you fucking and you scoff at it. Well, obviously, you don't fucking travel, because I see the shit bags that fucking come around with duct tape and underwear hanging out of them, and you're that guy. So if you want to be that guy, be that guy.
There are some things that it's fine to spend some money in exchange for value, and I think
exactly,
if
like
you're traveling half the year,
like
I think
like a fucking $400 Gucci beanie. You
absolutely.
gotta have one of those.
Absolutely.
I mean, fucking
quality's important.
Nothing
Nice.
says glory hole quite like a Gucci beanie.
You know what holds its value as much as anything else these days? Automobiles, Kevin. And I know we were talking earlier that your wife is talking about getting into the market for another car. And I already know CarGurus is going to be fired up on your phone tonight when you're watching Minnesota tonight.
Once they're in the system, they can't tariff them.
Once they're here, yeah. Shopping for a car can be just a process of second guessing yourself. Am I getting a good price? Am I making the right choice with this vehicle? With CarGurus, you do not have to wonder about any of these things. They have the most inventory of new and used cars so you can find the best deal, and with unbiased deal ratings, price drop alerts, in-depth vehicle reviews. You may not even be certain of the car you want. And with the research that CarGurus makes available to you, you can make a much more educated choice. You can make a decision you can feel great about, because a big deal should never feel like a big risk, right? So here's how it works. Kevin described this a little bit a couple of weeks ago. CarGurus is going to connect you with trusted dealerships. Okay, when you're ready, And this ensures a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the U.S., okay? So you can find the best deal. CarGurus gives you the control to shop how you want, tools, information, data-driven deal ratings. You need this. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com. Make sure your big deal is your best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus. Kev, you will consult CarGurus, I'm certain.
Okay, so I just pulled out my CarGurus.
Perfect. Let's do it.
And I'm looking at, so this is what they give you. So I'm looking right now at a 2003 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. It's got 32,000 miles.
2023, I hope you mean.
I mean, I'm sorry.
You said 2003, so I think you meant
2023.
Yes.
It's got 32,000 miles. And they always give you, whether it's a good deal, bad deal, and this one is a fair deal. So when you go down, this is in Orlando. There's 27 photos of it. So when I pop it, I think it's going to be black and let me just see. It's 43 miles away, and exterior is night black mango. Oh, the interior is carmine red and black. So
that's probably great.
Yeah.
Love that.
But and it gives you the safety, the measurements, the options. Then it gives you the history. No issues reported, no accidents reported, one previous owner. So, average market price for this car would be $81,901, and they're asking $82,000. And it says this car is $99 above market price.
Wow, so you're right. You even get the difference between what they estimate the market price is. This is amazing, guys. CarGurus.com, CarGurus.com.
That was the third car I pulled up.
It took you 2 minutes. This is unbelievable. Yeah. Remember back in the day, you'd have to visit all these lots and deal with the goddamn
and the key is
people
too,
hawking you.
So you make the call to make sure the car is still there, and then you get your salesman at that dealership because they'll give you the dealership information, and you go. And I would drive 47 miles from this location right here. I drive on the lot. First thing I'd do is say, what are you going to give me for my trade-in? And then we haggle back and forth. And that's the starting point, is $82,000. It's not cast in stone. I mean, I've been able to work a little magic here and there. So,
right.
Because they know, that's the whole thing. Like, if you keep your car, like I just looked at a car that had 20,000 miles more than mine that was for $13,000. So I think my car's probably worth 20 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, take 20 off of that is 67. Then the only thing you got to do is throw in a 5-year warranty on the powertrain and computer, and you're off and running.
Well done. Guys, if you want to join the folks here live with us for the tapings and getting your shows early and without ads, you can go to KliqThisTV.com and join the 11 Soft Club and be here with us every week and ask Kev questions and join us like Ace Ramon, who's wanting to know if we brought up Tony Khan being called a crackhead.
Who called him a crackhead?
Haven't yet. Though I guess that qualifies as you're bringing up. Ace.
Number one, he's autistic, man. You got to give the guy a little bit of slack. I mean, I'm serious, man. Fuck it. I had an autistic kid.
Well, I don't think that they were making fun of that so much as some of the
Yeah, but who's to say
some
that
of the things he has said.
Yeah, but who? At what point of the spectrum is he on? Like, I've never sat down and had a conversation with the guy.
Well, is this confirmed before we say this? Like, is this confirmed that he's on the spectrum? Or are we? All right, I got to zoom in on that so I could see.
I'm sorry. Okay, if you're going to pick between his actions and say he's probably on the spectrum, as is Elon Musk, as is 90% of the people, or he's just another billionaire crackhead, which one would you tend to believe?
I don't think he's a crackhead, if that's what you're asking me.
Right.
So this was in response to Ricochet's tweet.
What did Ricochet say?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it's a guy. Pull the guy up in front.
Javon Evans. Okay.
The guy that's running his mouth.
You learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade. All right, so this was just a worker.
No, that's just a fucking dig at Ricochet. I guarantee you, fucking Javon Evans. Fucking Ricochet is making a lot more fucking money than your fucking none. I don't even know. Does this guy even work? Does
he's in
Evans
NXT.
work?
Javon Evans is in NXT.
Yeah.
AEW wrestlers are getting paid way more than NXT wrestlers.
I know who fucking Ricochet is, Mr. Evans. I don't know who you are. So until you fucking get on the radar, maybe just shut the fuck up.
Kev, I'm hearing rumblings that Mania may be coming to Las Vegas again.
Well, looks like I'll be missing that motherfucker.
It made for an entertaining segment of the show. Maybe you should just
Jesus.
take one.
Yeah. Last time I had that much fun was the summer of '92. Oh!
It was originally scheduled for the Superdome, the Caesar Superdome in New Orleans on April 11th and 12th, 2026, but they've officially scrapped the plans, and instead New Orleans will be getting Money in the Bank in 2026.
What I heard was that they had went to on an actual site, like to look at the site, and realized that they had squelched the smell of piss to a degree in New Orleans that just wasn't acceptable. So unless they get a lot more urination in the streets over the next 6 months, that they would probably move it back to Vegas.
Which I guess has happened.
So
we're hearing, it's not confirmed, but we're hearing that Vegas is the front runner for the event, which of course this year, Allegiant Stadium.
It's not like the fucking Raiders are going to draw a house.
Hey, is Hulk Hogan trying to buy Hooters? His company, Real American...
They're bankrupt.
Real American Beer has made an
Hooters went bankrupt.
Right. Well, so he's looking to, I guess, to buy the intellectual property of Hooters and then expand it into merch, food,
Hulk
beverages.
Hogan's Hooters?
Well, Real American Beer, the company, has made an all-cash bid to acquire.
Do we know what the price is?
I don't have that in what's in front
Who is
of me.
All American Beer? Do we know who they are? Are they traded?
No, I don't. It's
are
not
they
public.
private?
It's got to be private. It's not a big enough company.
I mean, but it could be a subsidiary from
of something else.
You know, yeah, fucking whoever Paps is and all those other, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't. That I don't know. But anyway. If this is successful, they do plan to license the Hooters name
I don't get
back
it.
to current restaurant owner.
Somebody walk me through the fact, like, I know Hogan's got to have a minimum, just a minimum of $20 million.
Right. Why bother? Is this what
Why are you
the
going
headache?
town to town and slocking beer and fuck, man? I don't get it.
Well, maybe, I mean, you're making an assumption that there's 20 mil in the bank. Who knows how well he's managed it? I know there was a big Gawker settlement, right? We know all about that, but maybe he's not good with cash. Maybe he's got to go back to work, grinding it out, doing the road. Real American beer, some quasi-legitimate wrestling company with the pageantry.
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't. I guess, I mean, I know I could if I had to. I could grind again. Yeah, I mean, it's in me.
You have. I mean, you've talked about some grueling weekends that you.
Yeah, but those
are
are
how to grab that bag for.
That's like anything else, you know. Those are. I mean, if that was like my August is booked every weekend. Like I'm booked every weekend in August, from SummerSlam to. I mean, I go to Wales to a Comic-Con. I'm in Cherry Hill for a Comic-Con with Sting. And then I think maybe I'm in Kansas City or someplace at the end of the month. So
you're coming up here twice. You're going to do MetLife, and then a separate weekend is the Cherry Hill Comic-Con.
New Jersey. That's across the Walt Whitman from Philly. From Philly. That's not a.
Hour and a half away.
I'm just doing, well, I mean, fucking, I've driven that before and it take 5 hours.
Depends.
You know, I mean, you know how it is up there.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I'm doing Fanatics for like maybe 4. I know I've got I think they got me doing something on Raw or before Raw or.
Okay.
And I think I'm doing something at SummerSlam.
Well, I'll be down by you in July, and you'll be up here in August. We have to have a steak at some point.
Sounds good.
Jim Ross, I guess, has taken a significant step back due to some health concerns in May. He publicly announced he'd been diagnosed with colon cancer, is going to be undergoing surgery. So I guess his reduction in roles are related to the
health. How old's Jim now?
That's a good question. I wouldn't guess, but let me see. What do we got there, Steve-O? Jim Ross. JR. 73.
Wow, he's young.
That's not too old.
He's a good fucking guy, man. I got to reach out to him. I mean, he's just up the road to Jacksonville Beach. I'm sure he'd like to go out and have a dinner, chill, maybe just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I always very fond of him.
I was just going to ask you. You always got on with JR?
Yeah, man, he was, when I was a nobody and Jim had a radio show out of Atlanta. It was like a sports show, and he would have me on and just let me just bullshit with him and stuff. And like he knew I had like a personality and some intelligence, and like Jim always. And I think Jim and I'm quite sure Jim and I met at the Cheetah. You know,
right.
I'm positive of it. And but he was by far he was such a great announcer. Like, you know, that was one of the guys when you had a match that was of significance. Like, you smartened up Jim because that was a third of it. That was you, the person in the ring, and then Jim reinforcing the story that you were telling. And he always did it more like a sportscaster would than a wrestling announcer.
So, yes. So that was always the thing with Jim. He could have been calling an Oklahoma football game or whatever,
right.
and it would have been done the same way.
Yeah.
Gordon Soley thing too.
He's so talented.
And then on the other side of that was the wrestling announcer. Like Vince was always a wrestler. Oh my God! It was always a wrestling announcer. But those NWA guys, those WCW guys, Soley, Shivani, they were calling it as sport. Shivani got a little animated at times.
He was always really solid, though.
You know, I'm not criticizing his ability, but he had a foot still in more of the wrestling. Always played the straight man. But,
come on, Eddie. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
Lance Russell there.
Lance Russell.
Come on, Eddie.
And not often you get a Lance Russell impression, full frontal. I did watch Raw. I wasn't moved by too much of it, Kev. There was almost not much different enough to mention. We started with Gunther and
what I do now is
Paul.
When I watch Raw is I save the Rhea match. I save that, and then I put it on later with no sound, and then I put the Beatles Something in the Way She Moves Me. It attracts me like no other, and that's how I watched that match. So the one girl blew her knee out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a hard, to sit and see something. And she just came back from that knee injury, so she's re-injured, and she seemed I really don't know her, but she seemed really well liked by the locker room, and to come back, and just like, like Zoe's in the back and she's screaming, she's crying, she's hurt, and let's finish the show. So, but it's just I'll say it every week. It's just she's got so much charisma. She's so athletic. She's got such a fucking look. I mean, she's just money.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
She's very, very difficult to fucking.
She's consistently your favorite segment on the show.
I think that. So that house that they were in what, Greenville, South Carolina? Isn't that where they it used to be the old Bilo Center. Okay. I'm pretty sure they were in Greenville, because it was one of those deals when they did the drone shot. It was like, where the fuck are they at?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Looked like they were, but and it's a big building. I think it holds 15 or 16. I remember we ran that place in WCW. That's where I think Judy Bagwell won the tag championships. Was in the Bilo Center.
Referencing your WCW days, clearly.
Yeah. Fucking unbelievable.
Was there anything else on the show, Kev, that
I thought Logan Paul started the show, and then Gunther came out and got in his face, and I thought, like, there was such a fucking such a contrast between those two.
In ability,
no, I just think that like Logan's green, and you just have to, you just have to give the guy credit that he's as good as he is for as green as he is.
Mm-hmm.
But Logan looked like an influencer in the ring with a professional wrestler.
Right.
Like Gunther fucking is, he's never out of character. But to me, like, whatever verbiage, whoever's given Paul his verbiage. He doesn't miss his verbiage. It's just his pacing, his timing. The thing he does with his mouth is kind of annoying. I call it the fucking false teeth don't fit. Like, that's kind of annoying. And I know he's trying to be annoying as a heel, but you don't want to be turned the channel annoying.
Different kind of
Right,
heat.
different kind of heat. But so they finished that. Did that say Bilo Center or what? Did it say South Carolina? Oh, and now it's the Bonskills Event Center.
Yeah.
Train setup, ticket distribution. Yeah, it looked way heavier than 9,800.
Well, capacity was 10,000. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but at the end, Jay super kicks him and leaves him unconscious, and then we fast forward to the last thing we see, and it's Logan Paul hitting Jay and knocking him unconscious. So then I have to say, so this Saturday, if either one of those guys gets a clean shot at the other one, obviously neither one
Game
of them
over. Whoever gets it first.
Game over.
Yeah.
And it's going to start as a hockey fight. And they're going to sit there and exchange blows and no sell. And it's just like, you can't fucking do that.
Correct.
Like, Jay should send him off early and go, like, set up for the kick. He should grab the ropes and slide out. They should do it almost like a Japanese match, or like how Jake used to work the fucking DDT, where he would go to set it and the guy would grab the ropes and Jake would go down. Everything was built around the finish, but that punch isn't Logan's finish. And for a while there, he was using brass knucks.
Right.
Now he's just he's just Mike Tyson. 21-year-old Mike Tyson. So it's very difficult from a psychology standpoint to, see how they're going to get through that.
Right. Yeah, the KO thing. We saw this a couple of weeks ago.
Did you notice that when Paul threw the punch at the end and he smiled, he had blood in his mouth?
I did see that. There was a little blood on his teeth.
Yeah.
And he sold it a little bit, running the tongue over it. I caught that.
Yeah,
I see what you did.
I'm
Mr.
just
Paul.
like, he didn't get anything offensively. So then, did Jay fucking potato him enough where he?
Yeah, an errant punch.
But I mean, geez,
sensitive there.
A hemophiliac or what?
He could. It's a sensitive area of the lip.
Yeah,
just tap that and.
Fucking ice that bitch.
So yeah,
too much Toradol. I'm not able to fucking coagulate.
And so the pop of the night, probably Punk coming down for the schmaz at the end.
John Hamm coming down.
And or maybe the pop of the night was Sami Zayn coming down. I feel like it was probably Punk.
I didn't know till the other, maybe 2 days ago, that when they rebooted the American Gigolo for Showtime, that Sami Zayn was the runner-up.
Right.
For the lead. But he said he wouldn't do it because they couldn't get the rights to Call Me from Blondie. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing I remember about that film was that goddamn song being used.
Fuck yeah,
it's really
man.
funny you said that. Kev, as we talk about all this, I do want to remind everyone that as you sit, you watch Raw, maybe you're watching this show, your CASHAPP app should be open on your phone because you never know when you're going to need to send money or request money. See, it works both ways here. I'm going to hit here, go right to my screen, and I could either, at the bottom, you see it says request or pay. So I could send Kev his whatever. If he sprung for some Dunkin' Donuts today and want to send him $20, I could do it right here. And the beauty of Cash App, there's a lot of options these days, right, to send money, receive money. Maybe you have a story about getting hit with a fee that you were not going to be aware of when you entered into the tacit agreement with a site to send some money to a friend. Or maybe you have to wait a couple of days to receive your money. Maybe worse than that, you accidentally send it to the wrong person. You select the wrong contact. You got no way to get it back. So, or if you're trying to cash out and there's like a delay in processing and it doesn't hit your bank account. Guys, Cash App has assassinated all of these blockades to a simple cash sending and receiving process. It's safe, easy, and fast. The safest, easiest, and fastest way to send, receive, or transfer money to family, friends. So easy to get started. I literally downloaded this app, put in my information, and in about 2 minutes was rocking and rolling. And there's no waiting. My money shows up right away when someone sends it to me. No waiting around for days. Safety, security, Cash App has your back. If you're about to send money to a sketchy account or anything that's uncertain, a scam warning will pop up for you in the app. It's able to identify these things and help you relax as you go through this process. You could even personalize your payments. Customize it to friends, put some custom text, stamps, even backgrounds. Guys, this is something you've got to try. So for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. The code is KLIQ10, Kliq 10. There's no catch, okay? Download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code KLIQ10 in your profile, and guess what? If you send $5 to a friend within 14 days of signing up, you're going to get $10 deposited in your account. It's money for nothing. Chicks for free. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Thank you, Cash App. I noticed the Cash App on the ring. Did you see that during Raw, Kev? The Cash App banner popped up. So they're going heavy with their wrestling here and with the WWE. Kev, how about a little Dear Sexy? It's been a minute since you've given advice to the general public.
I'm kind of burnt out after that Toomey thing, but I'll give it a shot.
And see what you can come up with. These are actual letters from the Dear Abby archives. We asked Kev, what if Kevin Nash was giving the advice? We all love Kevin's perspectives on things, so let's see what he would advise. Our first writer says, Dear Sexy, we asked our 19-year-old college stepdaughter, Lulu, to dog sit and house sit several months ago. She knew our rule of no visitors allowed in our home, and while we were out of town. Because of this, we didn't feel we needed to prepare the house by filing mail and documents away prior to our short trip. Lulu had her new boyfriend of the last few weeks stay over for the weekend. She not only allowed this stranger into our home, but also deceived us for months. It's difficult to let go of our disappointment in her poor judgment, allowing a stranger into our home with unsecured documents out in the open. Was she at Mar-a-Lago? This is unbelievable. Her sexual activities and consequences are her adult choices, but I'm not sure when I'll be able to trust our daughter again. She had an opportunity to start building our trust shortly after we found out about the weekend, but didn't take our consequences or rules seriously enough during her school break and lost access to some privileges. Yes, she did start counseling sessions this past semester. Where do we go from here? No trust in New Mexico.
Well, I mean, so you made a decision to let your daughter run the house.
Yes.
And I don't know. Am I the only person on earth that like takes important papers that they don't want anybody to see and puts them in my office in a safe? You know, I think what you need to do in life is expect somebody of a younger age to make mistakes, and then she wouldn't take her consequences. Well, who's paying for school? You know, that would be one of my questions: is who's putting her through school? She's still living at home. I mean,
I feel like there's more to this story. Is that enough? Just that there was documents out and her boyfriend came over?
I think it's, to me, it seems like they came home to a wet spot in
I
their
was going to
bed.
say they got a little
You
like
know,
some cummy sheets in the master bedroom. Probably
I think
pissed them off.
that's more of what's happening. I mean, I can't see some young guy coming over and it's like you got the run of the house. You've got, obviously they said she's sexually active, which is her decision, and you think he's like, if he's pilfering through your crib and not having a little fun with your daughter.
I think the problem was maybe he wiped his dick with the statement. No, with the Berkshire Hathaway statement, and
maybe
Dad came home.
It could be as easy as she changed the screensaver on her phone to a picture of her with a dirty Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
See that? And a lot of these people nowadays, they see a dirty Sanchez and they think they need to call ICE. So
how does this tie into the border wall? Because I knew we were going there.
Well, I had to.
All right, the next letter. Dear Sexy, my husband's 50th birthday, we're both men, is approaching. And I wanted to have a surprise party for him, his family, my family, and the two of us all live in different states on the East Coast. I thought a compromise would be to have the party in New Jersey halfway through. On a Saturday, I even offered to rent an Airbnb for the weekend, understanding that traveling might be too much for some folks. Even after all these efforts, my mother-in-law responded that she feels having two separate parties, one in her state, one local to us, is a better solution. I'm beyond mad that his family is unwilling to make any sacrifice to see him happy. His family never once comes to visit us. We've made multiple trips there. I still want to have a celebration, but I'm worried that his family will be absent and will upset him. He's a smart man. He will know they were invited but didn't bother to show up. I don't want to cancel the party, but I also feel that asking us to have two separate ones is unreasonable and selfish on their part. Must I cut bait and stop expecting them to care? That's from Planner in Maryland.
I've got a different philosophy in life than a lot of people. It's pretty much, if I ask you one time and you fucking hem and haw, it's like, fuck you. Just don't have a party. Why don't you take your husband someplace, but go to Niagara Falls for the weekend? Like why pay for Airbnb? Stay at the Hilton on the Canadian side. Get a corner suite with the bathtub that overlooks the falls. Have a good fucking 50th, something he'll remember. He won't remember if you put his mother into the equation. It's going to be fucking turmoil, and his 50th is going to fucking suck. And it's about him and his 50th. So make the situation about his 50th, and sitting in the tub looking over the falls. That's about as good as it gets. That close to that area, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they've made it so difficult for the party, then just nix
them.
the party idea.
Fuck everybody.
Fuck everybody. And you know what a good gift for his 50th would be from his betrothed? How about this Ridge wallet right
I
here?
was going to say BLUECHEW, but okay, I'll go Ridge Wallet.
Yeah, no, that's coming soon. We'll get back on them when the BLUECHEW pops up. But the Ridge wallet, and listen, we're Father's Day right around the corner here, folks. So if you're one of these folks that struggles to find the Father's Day gift every year, let us help you. He would love to experience the Ridge wallet. Look at the slender profile of this. Securely holds your cards, and it's that simple to pop your card out. You depress the one side, boom, it pops out. Some of these dads' wallets, you ever see these things get pulled out in the store? It looks like it was tied to the back of a truck and driven here up by 95. So maybe,
Let alone the fact that those wallets cause cervical problems.
oh yeah, on your tailbone. Yeah, when
well,
you're sitting down.
They're uneven pressure.
Absolutely.
In time they hit your S1, L1, L2. It's like, man,
You're basically saving your father-in-law from horrendous back injury,
Absolutely.
long-term back injury, by giving him the Ridge and letting him.
Plus, you make him look like he's at least from this. Maybe that's
This
the kind of
generation.
Yeah, he might even watch Star Wars.
There's over 50 colors and styles. I went with this exciting orange one, but it's not just functional. It's
Tennessee
personal.
orange.
It really is the
Maybe it's
Vols
Syracuse
wallet.
orange, but it's a.
It's a Vols wallet.
You know what is smart about you picking that color is I have a black one, and like if I set it, I'll set it on top of my phone.
Too hard to find.
I'll be like, "Where's my wallet?" And it'll be sitting on my phone, which is like the double black zone.
No, I love to. I actually throw this into like my daughter's like toys and her makeup and shit, and I throw it in and I see how fast I can find my Ridge wallet. I test myself. But you don't even have to have a solid. You got a favorite NFL team? You can get them on the wallet, okay? 50 colors and styles. Losing your wallet's the worst. But with the Ridge AirTag attachment, you'll always know where it is before panic mode sets in. So many options, so many things to do about this. And listen, Ridge is not even only about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials, key cases, suitcases. I have their key ring also. Same sleek and durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping and a 99-day risk-free trial and a lifetime warranty. So this is the last goddamn wallet your father or father-in-law is ever going to need. So just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. This is no joke. Up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/Kliq, Kliq. You got to type our code to get that 40% off. Head to ridge.com/Kliq to find the perfect gift for your dad or even yourself. When you check it out, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. You better put Kliq This podcast so they know that we showed you the love. Give Dad the upgrade he deserves this year.
I didn't realize you could get the football. Like I would have got my brother a Lions one for his birthday. Not that I still can't, but he's going to listen to the show. So when you get your Detroit Lions Ridge wallet, act surprised. I'm going to send him a Jacksonville Jaguar just to fuck with him.
All right, back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. I don't have to tell Kevin where to go to have better sex. BlueChew.com. He knows. You know. We all know. If you've been listening to this show for even 1 week, then you know Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Starting now, Blue Chew's offering a combo so strong it's going to knock you out. Blue Chew Max has arrived. It combines the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. The combo acts fast and lasts. That's the key. The whole thing here is just being ready, guys, okay? Be ready when your partner needs it. And we're going to help you get there by giving you this first month free. But you got to understand why this is special, why this is great. With just a few clicks after signing up at BlueChew.com and you consult with one of their licensed medical providers and you're approved, bang, it's done. You get your prescription within days. and the envelope, discreetly packaged, shows up at your door. This is all done online. The days to the doctor's office and the pharmacy, that's so yesterday. That's so antiquated. Do the Blue Chew. Okay, go to BlueChew.com and start your process. Okay, we're talking about horsepower here, guys. You know what I mean? You're going to get bricked up. You want to go hard? You're going to go hard. All right, that's what we're talking about. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life, guys. Just make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got that special deal I promised you for our listeners. Try your first month free when you use the promo code NASH. Just pay $5 for shipping so they can get it to ya. That's the promo code NASH. Visit BlueChew.com for details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast from day one. Thank you, Blue Chew.
Dunka.
Hashtag AskNash is how you get your questions sent in, or you just go to KliqThisTV.com and sign up for the 11 Soft Club, and you'll be here in the audience. Let's see who sent in. Matt Armstrong says, Sean Oliver, shattered my dreams. Good one, you bastard. I don't even remember what he's referring to. I must have said he shattered my dreams last week. Serious question for Kev. I recently tore my Supraspinatus, did I say that right?
Yes.
Tendon completely in my right shoulder, and my only treatment option is surgery. Doctor says complete recovery time's around 9 months. Is that accurate? I'm a mechanic, and I got to support my wife and kiddos. Any chance I could recover quicker, or should I just deal with the pain? 49 years old. What do you say to Matt?
Got to get it fixed. I mean, you've got to. Now, it depends on, the supraspinatus runs basically across the top of your shoulder here. So he could have, like if he tore the whole supraspinatus off, then that's a hell of a surgery. I had a full thickness tear, but mine tore upwards. So they had to anchor it and then pull it down. I was, number one, I had yeah, you can see that.
There's a visual.
Yeah. And that would see, mine was still connected on one side, so that it was, but it was a full thickness, which means it's torn all the way through. So anything that's a full thickness tear, you've got to get surgically repaired, especially at that age.
Yeah, you're using your arms in your trade.
Well,
Matt.
I mean, I actually read his question during the week, and I answered him back, and I'm just, I'm thinking about, a mechanic, and he's on his back with a socket wrench, even with a long socket. So, I mean, I would definitely, I pray this isn't his dominant hand, but I know that most mechanics are so gifted that they can use both. It's a son of a bitch. It's a painful injury. It's a unbelievably painful surgery. If you're going to get it fixed, you have to have a recliner. You cannot sleep in a bed for probably 4 to 6 weeks. So you're going to have a recliner. That's just, that's.
What was your recovery, Kev?
So I had the advantage of having it surgically repaired, and then 4 weeks later having it injected with stem cells. So my recovery, was greatly accelerated. There's peptides on the market, like TB 500, BP 157, that will, they call them the Wolverine drugs that make you heal faster. But just say the first thing you have to do is really listen to your doctor. You've got to stay in that sling I mean, as much of a pain in the ass it is, and they've got like a pad that pushes it away from your body that's about, I don't know, probably 3 inches thick, 3.5 inches thick. And you've got to stay in that sling as much as possible, at least for the first month. And then, but they've got this, and a lot of people will say, oh, don't do that, don't do that. But they've got like a pulley system that goes over a door, and you grab that, you lower the one, and you put your bad arm into it, and then you take your good arm and you pull the arm up to get that range, because that's the hardest thing to do is to get that range of motion back. And everybody that I've put through rehab after they've had it done are like, yeah, that was night and day. Like once I could, get that movement, and then there's different things, like with a golf club, and but you've got, I mean, you've got to do, like, they're going to tell you to do rehab every day, but you got to do rehab like 5 times a day. You've got the more rehab you can do, the better. You keep ice on it. You got to stay. You've got to. I don't take pain pills, but I did. Like, they gave me 30 pain pills, and I counted, and I had. So I went through. I had 24 left, so I took 6 pain pills before I went to a leave. So, and I don't take pain pills because they make me throw up.
Right.
But it's like, it's one of those things where just like, is that nerve block leaves, man, you got to stay ahead of that pain. It's a brutal injury. It's a pain in the ass, but I think in 6 months, I think in 6 months you'll be where you need to be, where you can work, probably even 4 if you got to feed your family. But good luck, man.
All right. Let us know, Matt, how it goes. Okay. Keep in touch with us.
Yeah, stay in touch with us on the show.
These are our peeps. We take care of our peeps. Moose says, I've been a fan of Kev since I was 8 years old, and of Sean since I first saw kayfabe commentaries. My question is for Kev. Out of all the towns in Canada you have wrestled in, which one was your favorite?
Like, as far as the crowd?
I'm thinking when he says town, it's more the environment. I don't think he means building. I think he means the town you liked to work.
Montreal.
Montreal.
Yeah.
How about some live audience questions? I know we have some folks here who joined the 11 Soft Club, courtesy of KliqThisTV.com. Like Ace Ramon. It's cool that you played Metal Slug. Did you guys even have the whole NeoGeo arcade machine with all the other SNK games? One of my favorite brands, and they were ahead of their time.
We had every system,
You told me that was it. You hear the expression "kid in a candy store"? That's Tristan in GameStop. Is the kid in the candy store?
I remember, like, we had GameCube before anybody else had GameCube. We had what was it, fucking the one that gets the red ring of death?
It's the NeoGeo.
The fucking
what was the red ring of death?
It's not PlayStation, but the other one. The
Xbox.
I hated it. Xbox. I used to have to turn the controller upside down on Xbox in order to play because I was so PlayStation fucking. I was just a PlayStation guy.
Right. You get used
to.
I
didn't have video. When my son was born, like we were staying at a hotel. I think we were out in LA, and they had video games, and we played Spyro. It was like fucking $9.99 an hour, and I remember the bill was like $300. Like, we just fucking stayed in the room all day and just played Spyro.
Who else? What else we got? Tal R. Fuck, I have to go to missiles launched now.
I don't get it.
Tal, help us. Steve? Any idea? Oh,
she's in Israel.
She's in Israel. I have to go. Missiles launched now.
Which way?
I was gonna say, is it incoming or what the fuck? Britt is here, now in Florida. Hey, Uncle Kev, would love to hear a Yoko memory if you have one.
Got a billion. Yoko, we used to play cards on the bus, and Yoko, notoriously would just somehow just magically come up with the card he needed.
He was stashing
and
them?
he was dealing.
Yeah.
But everybody loved Yoko, so it was just like, yeah, whatever. We weren't playing for money.
Right.
What, motherfuckers? What? Nothing, Yoke.
What else we got, Steve?
Taker's laughing right now. He hears that.
Ivan Garcia. My dad and I only got along when sports was on TV when I was growing up. A great moment my dad and I had was watching Jordan sink his shot to beat the Jazz for his 6th ring. Did you see it live?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yep.
Wrap us up. One more. Instagram a wrestling historian. What did Mr. Nash think of the WCW Nitro Grill?
Thought it was I went for the opening. I actually brought Tristan with me. It was a good concept idea. I mean, it showed that, WCW had actually, but I think I'm pretty sure it was like in the Excalibur or something like that. It was like, ugh.
Bad spot.
Yeah.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Geek, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2025, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one?
Yeah, and I just want to say that I hope Talar is safe with the missile situation.
Yeah, that's a whole existence. I can't even imagine it.
Unbelievable.
Right. Stay safe, Tal, and everyone else too.
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a trick, but the customer service never answers a thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns, you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, accustomed